All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Aussies taking over the NBA. It is Friday, the 7th of December, Friday afternoon. Welcome to the weekend.
Has landed.
We're doing a turbo pod edition for some games for y'all. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube and also all your good podcasting apps. Okay, we'll get into it. Jazz and Miami, and a heartbreaking loss for the Jazz to a trash bag Miami.
Yeah.
I just have to put out there, Miami are trash.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a disappointing loss for them. I think they had a 20-point lead at one stage, the Jazz. Reading through my notes here, the Jazz ran out to leads of 20-5 and 35-16. And they still weren't able to get it done. Obviously, they dusted off Dwayne Wade. They rose him out of the sarcophagus.
They did. They gave him an integral elixir of life injection.
And he came on and he won the drew the foul. Obviously, near the end on Gobert. Gobert was not happy about that at all. I think he ended up getting fined for that.
Yes. That was the ref's comment. Yeah, he ended up getting fined like 15,000 or something like that. And I think Quinn Snyder's like, I'll take half of that for you. I want to get in on that.
Yeah. Which was disappointing. Obviously, they had a good shot. Like the last shot to win that game was a decent look for Donovan Mitchell. Wide open. It was a 3. I would have liked to see him shoot a 2, take it to overtime. Got to be a little bit greedy, but also maybe like Joe Ingles shooting that. Maybe
getting Ingles open, I think probably would have been a bit nicer.
But Donovan Mitchell doesn't shy away from the moment, and if he wants to take that last shot, and that's how they drew it up, then I guess he's got to take it on his young shoulders to do that. That's it.
I think you've got a few more experienced guys in the team that could potentially have done that. Even Kyle Korver, who was around for this game, I think this is his first game for the Jazz after the trade with Cleveland. A heartbreaking loss. Hassan Whiteside really has feasted off the boards this year, looking a lot better, except when he gets up against Joel Embiid and other guys like that. I think probably Marcus Sol as well is another guy that take him to town. He's looking much better this year, much fitter, less whingy, and I think having over in terms of points over Gobert in this one. Gobert just looks slow this year. Looks like his game is not kept up with the pace that is required for the NBA. Hassan Whiteside had 23 points, 20 boards. D. Wade winding back the clock somewhat, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists. Did not shoot well from the field, only 26%. But again, it's experience that towards the end of the game that got them the win.
Took over late and got them over the line. The Jazz, man, 11-13, 9 of 7 away from home. They just
beat some teams. They beat some good teams, and they lose some bad games. And
so far, I think this Korver trade is going to change their lineup a little bit. So far, he's kind of eating Exum's minutes a little bit. Exum only played 2 minutes in this game. He got to the line and shot 1 of 2. Ingles obviously had 29 minutes, 11 points, 5 from 13, 1 of 4 from 3. 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. If Joe Ingles is going to play make more, then one of those other guys needed to hit shots or be a knockdown shooter.
Yes.
I personally don't think Joe Ingles should be playmaking that much or as much as he is. But
4-5, maybe 3-5 or 4-5 pick and roll with Gobert is about the playmaking that you want to do.
But at the same time, it feels like it's a leadership reaction to what's happening to this team. It's almost as though, I've got to help this team out by playmaking a bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, Rubio is a leader like him. He's been around the traps for a long time. They haven't got an inexperienced team.
No.
They've got some really experienced players, and it just seems like they're chunking.
I don't know what it is, man.
It's a Mitchell volume of shots. If Donovan Mitchell's not scoring 35 points a game, they're struggling to win. And again, it's either he's scoring 35 and he's shooting well, or he's not shooting well and he's taking a volume of shots with him.
Yeah.
And that's not allowing them to score efficiently. And Joe Ingles seems to be running the offense. Mitchell seems to be just jacking up shots on the ISO. And Rubio is very hot and cold when it comes to scoring. And their bench hasn't really come to the table in some games.
Yeah.
And it's just been hot and cold. And that's what the Jazz seems like the Jazz season's going to be like. Although, you have to put in there that they've had a very, very away trip heavy start to the season.
So what's that? 9-7 away. That's 16 of their first 24 games away from home.
That's a heavy trip. They're going to play 26 out of their first 40 games away from home.
And then you look at their home record, and it's been terrible.
It's been abysmal.
Yeah.
It was a stronghold last season.
Yeah, which is kind of unusual, but hopefully they're obviously playing the Rockets at the moment. Spoiler alert, they're up big, which was pretty good.
Yeah, we hate the
I just think, this Korver trade is going to speed their team up because they're going to have that extra knockdown shooter that isn't one of Rubio, Mitchell, Exum, or like a Royce O'Neal, a Niang, or someone like they needed one more shooter who's going to knock down shots. I think it looked on paper nice, those rotations, but I still think like Rubio, Exum, Niang, and then maybe Allen, like it's still a bit drive heavy and still a bit ball hog heavy. So I think this trade is going to open them up. So hopefully over the next few games
they get some scoring opportunities.
Some wins moving along.
Indeed. Next game.
76ers. Good win.
Yeah, good win. I think really this is what's come out of the Butler trade. Ben Simmons was actually really good this game to watch. He had 19 points, 80% from the field. Bad free throws, 3 from 8, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. He played, I think, defensively very aggressively. There was a big steal he got towards the end of the game, which pretty much shut down the Grizzlies' momentum. I think Butler's having a really good effect on him from
definitely.
a defensive perspective. I think he's still not taking the shots he should, and he's 5 steps ahead of the rest of the team in transition. You see that when you see them? He's got the ball. He's down the court. No one's with him because he's too quick.
Yeah.
Like, he's a lot quicker than most of those guys. Embiid, tries to get there, but Ben Simmons seems to be a 6'10" guy trapped in a 6'2" like mentality.
Yeah.
Quick, ball movement, trying to get to the rim, and then pulls up and has got no one around him and can't get the shot off. But he had a nice between the legs assist this game. Embiid played okay. Embiid's been quiet over the last 3 or 4 games, whether that's just workload. I mean, Philly have played the most games out of all the NBA teams. So they've had a really high workload before Christmas. That is slowing down at the moment, which hopefully will give some guys a bit of a rest. Jimmy Butler had 21. JJ Redick had 24. Man, what a vet JJ Redick is.
Yeah, man.
So good he's just so deadly off the screen. So deadly. What a pin shooter. And Muscala started this game at the 4. We're struggling, I think, in some games because we're not getting scoring efficiency at the 4. It seems like we got good starting 4 players in Embiid, Simmons, Butler, and Redick. But if Ben Simmons is getting locked down, with that lane collapsing and he can't score, our 4 can't score. We're kind of limited to 3 guys and a little bit of bench rotation. So we really need to be looked to signing Trevor Ariza for Markel Fultz.
Yeah, well, that's another knockdown shooter will, I think, be important. They lost Covington, and obviously Covington's was a big part of their perimeter defense and knockdown. As a knockdown shooter, was part of their offense as well.
Yeah.
Maybe looking for that guy, basically.
Yeah, they're looking for that guy.
Plug back in,
Yeah, and I think they need to plug that back in. I think Muscala's a good backup who can play some 5 minutes, but Wilson Chandler has not turned out to be anything crash hot. Really struggles to take the shot, struggles to get open, is not really moving the ball effectively. I think he's still trying to plug himself into the Philly lineup. It's a little bit too quick for his style of play.
Yep.
And I think, Butler, all being told, I was a bit iffy before the trade. I'm not iffy now. He has been a fantastic addition to the team. It's just a shame we had to lose Saric and Covington to get it. I think, Covington, playing 2, 3, and 4, Saric playing the 4. I mean, I think that's the team that wins it, but obviously we wanted to make moves to get Butler now instead of at the end of next year, which could have been the case. We could have got a very nice trade when he opted out of his player option. But yeah, JJ continued his really good late career scoring opportunities. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes an all-star this year.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the volume of points he's been scoring at the 2, He's defensively picked up his game a little bit as well, coming out to the perimeter a bit more and shutting things down. But the rest of this game can be said that the Grizzlies did not hit shots down the stretch and Philly ran away with it. And essentially, that's what it was at the end of the day. Simmons, some good defense. Embiid not scoring overly well. I think he relies on the 3-ball way too much. That's not his game. This game he had...
I wonder if he was trapped into a little bit of that because of the way Conley and Gasol play.
No, he's trapped into that because Ben Simmons is too fast. So by the time he gets there, he's at the perimeter. He's not down in the low post. He's trailing behind because he's going post to post. The poor guy, he's doing really well. And you see the fans like, oh, Ben Simmons can't shoot. Well, actually, their whole game is an effect of the fact that Ben Simmons is too quick. Yeah. He's so deadly in transition. And when they shut down his transition offense, the only thing they have is Embiid trailing and to shoot. Yeah.
And then, it becomes like a treadmill type thing where that just keeps happening. But still, I like the way Embiid's played. Like, he's definitely an MVP candidate this season. He's been fantastic.
I think that his game's probably weakened in the last couple of weeks and maybe tired. Even he himself said he's been playing like trash.
But he has to have a bit of a rest and then recharge. I think part of managing him as a whole is not wearing him out, because he does have those fitness issues. It's about managing that as well. This is his
first full season, and he's played every game, which has been amazing to watch anyway. So, good win for Philly, and we'll move on to the Clippers and the Mavs. And the Mavs getting up against the Clippers, who have been surprisingly good this year. Out of nothing.
Yeah, just a random, let's just lose to the Mavs. Nice. Which was good. Did Broekhoff play in this game? No. He did not. DMP coach's decision. I think... when Barnes came back, that squeezed him out a little bit. Yeah. Which is understandable. Luka Doncic, obviously being that real versatile piece as well, restricts him in a way that he has basically just been a knockdown shooter. That's it. And I think there is more to his game, but you're not going to get the chance in this lineup to showcase that, especially with a fit Harrison Barnes. No Doncic in this game, actually, which is interesting.
Yeah, no Doncic's game. They still managed to pick out the win. So.
But then, obviously, they got Harrison Barnes to lean on. He's a good ISO scorer, 30 points. DeAndre Jordan, obviously, they haven't had a big man like DeAndre Jordan in the last few years. JJ Barea, 24 points off the bench. He's obviously a good hustle guy, good at plugging in. The Mavericks, I think, have gone 9-2 at home. So they started the season pretty poorly, and now they've gone a bit of a tear. I think it was an 8-0 run that they went on. But no Broekhoff, so no Broekhoff, no party for us.
No. We tend to just watch the highlights of the games the Aussies don't play in. But, I mean, DeAndre Jordan's having a good season, I think. He's doing quite well in the good matchups they have against slow bigs. He's kind of dominating them on the boards. And he dominated...
Yeah, he fits that team. I think that's one of the main things that they really needed.
Well, the Clippers only really got Gortat, and he's always going to kind of bully Gortat out of things. And Boban didn't play this game at all. God, he's kind of like a bit of a behemoth, Boban. He doesn't really get many minutes. When he does,
like
he's kind
of freak. Yeah. It's a weird. It's like a not in the like him as he is a freak. It's like his game is a bit of an aberration to how you use him.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like, it's not really serviceable. Obviously he can play, but it's just like, it's a bit freakish, man. Yeah. Like, it just doesn't really work. It's like, Yao Ming or Manute Bol, obviously.
But Yao was kind of there. He played and he played well.
But you watch them play and it's not natural. Like, it just doesn't look like it's right, you know?
Looks alien.
Yeah, it does. It's a little bit like Giannis, like a 6'11" ball handler that's fast and long. It's the same thing. It just doesn't look right.
If he's not, he's got to be MVP this year.
I think he's put in a pretty good case. We'll move on to the Spurs and Trailblazers. Another much needed win for the Spurs.
We called them the sniper Spurs in this game because they shot 70% from three. I think they shot 85% from the field and I think 90% from the line. Oh, I mean, Portland played well, but the Spurs just,
They shot 85%?
Something from the 2 point from the field, yeah.
60 from the field.
60.
73% from three. Wow. That's a good night for the Spurs, man. DeRozan, 36 points. Paddy Mills off the bench, 25 minutes, 5 from 8 from the field, 3 and 5 from 3.
Plus 24. I mean...
6 assists too.
The Blazers have gone cold. They've gone to where the Ben Black of the world thought they would be, down the toilet. But, Lillard still scored 37 points. They're just not defending it all.
I think, they're struggling a little bit defensively. They have a team where it's not quite there. There's Turner, Aminu, and these guys that aren't that reliable. Like, if something goes down the toilet, you can kind of go, well, they've got Evan Turner and Aminu. What do you expect? Type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge, he did say the Spurs noticed that Stotts kept whistling when they wanted the Blazers to double team, which I thought was quite interesting. And LaMarcus said, I noticed it, I think, last year and this year, whenever he whistles, the double's coming. And I think he does it sometimes to try and trick you to think it's coming, but I thought everyone was ready for it. I thought the guys went to the right space and I tried to make the right reads, and it ended up working out. That's interesting because LaMarcus almost needs extra help sometimes.
That whistle obviously helped him.
Yeah, definitely, because he does need sometimes like a shove, like stop holding the ball so long, man, or move it more, or get out to the 3-point line and shoot a 3. Like, he's not really shooting threes this year, and I think that's kind of hampering them a little bit. He's obviously not a super fit individual, like a super hustle guy that like goes everywhere.
Yeah.
It does need, he does need a bit of a shove every now and then to get him going, and I guess that helped him. 29 points, 11 of 15 from the field, 8 rebounds, like a great game from him. Spurs 11 of 12 after this game,
and they're still sitting in last. The second last outside
I haven't
Phoenix.
seen the table.
Yeah, I mean the West is just
the West is like everyone's losing to everyone. It's really bizarre. It's
so stupid. Let's go there. Yeah, I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb. Yeah, Spurs are 14th, and they're 6.5 games behind the Nuggets, who are somehow resurged again and coming. So they kind of went cold, and it's just.
Yeah, now they're back out. Yeah, 17-7. There you go. Eh?
And the Grizzlies are back down where they probably should be, and the Mavs are getting into 8th spot, and the Kings are coming up, and Timberwolves, since Covington and Saric have been there, have resurged, and Pelicans don't know what's going on. And
because Philly's having a good season. 17-9 is a good start to the season.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that if the fans are like, Ben Simmons can't shoot, Markelle Fultz is a bust, and it's just like, yeah, but we got Butler and Embiid. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
And you got like this 26 pick, Landry Shamet.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Shamet.
He only scored 6 points. But I mean, for a rookie, he's at 26. You'd be happy with that pickup. Any team would. He's a sniper. Gets on 15 minutes, gives you 9 points. Boom, that's what you want. Defends well. Is not oversized. He's a good size for a 2. So,
but we'll get back to them.
Yes, they play again.
Games. Yeah, so the Blazers then went on to play the Mavs, and a good win for the Mavs.
Yes,
took them to 10-2 at home. No Broekhoff again, obviously. Doncic was back for this game. He had 21 points. He looks like odds on for Rookie of the Year, which is good. It was a good pickup. I think the franchise suits him. The environment suits him. The way their roster's built really suits that kind of player. I think if they had just kept Trae Young, I just wouldn't.
No, Trae Young was. I mean, Trae Young is an interesting character. He's almost going to be like that Rondo of the next generation. Kind of like he's very good on the passing, sees the floor very well, just very undersized and hasn't developed that shot enough yet.
No, I think he's the kind of player that's going to have to grow into the right franchise.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just going to be a one size fits all guy who just fits anywhere.
No.
At Atlanta, I guess if they're going to tank for a few more seasons, it gives him an environment where he doesn't need to worry about any of this stuff. Whereas I feel like the Mavericks are kind of getting into a space where it's like, all right, time to do something with this franchise now.
Yeah, you've got Doncic.
Doncic fits a lot better.
Yeah, he does, and they've got some nice pieces in there. Look, they're probably one more piece away from being top 4 competitive, I think.
I think maybe like 2 or 3 years of really getting that franchise rolling.
Yeah.
Like DeAndre Jordan's the right piece. Probably maybe 2 years too late. Like if they had him 2 years ago, or he was 2 years younger or 3 years younger. I think they've got a nice roster composition where they can now start shoving some like-for-like players in underneath them as well. Like they've got a good array of big man, Kleber, Mejri's coming through. Ryan Broekhoff, hopefully if he stays after 2 seasons, like, you know, he'll push in behind as a knockdown shooter. Sometimes it's about building the roster, but it's also about having the framework where you can continue to add pieces here and there, and you're not just continuously like shoveling through bargain bins, having to retool, do things like that.
Bargain
like,
bins, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like half the battle is just getting that array of 4 or 5 players to make the nucleus of your franchise.
And I think their bench depth still a little bit to be.
Oh yeah,
and you know you want those 2 bench pieces that are you know either good vets, you know, solid vets that can give you good minutes, or you know, really good pickups in the draft. And obviously Dallas aren't tanking; they're there to make the playoffs this year. And look, I think if they continue to go where they're going, I don't see why that's not an option.
Yeah, they can maybe 7th or 8th seed,
get in there.
It just is such a logjam in the West. Like the dust hasn't settled yet. It's still everyone beating everyone.
I think it's 2 injuries away from settling. If everyone stays healthy in all the teams, we're going to see this up until it'll be
All-Star
6 till 12 would be decided on percentages.
Yeah, I think up until All-Star break, where you know some of these other teams like the Grizzlies and maybe even the Clippers might fall off a little bit. But I can see Oklahoma City Thunder and the Nuggets staying up there. Like they've got less of a Memphis-y Clippers type situation. They've got more of we've actually got good players, been to the playoffs before. We've got more of a rolling type of rhythm set up where we're winning games by winning games and not just like Memphis of just basically grinding teams into the dust.
Yeah, and defensively they're very good, very smart.
Eventually that's not like some of these games where they're losing, where you're going, you just ground yourselves into the dust and that the other team outscored you and they got hot and they're like, what could you do type of thing. The Clippers feel like they're the opposite. They're like just hustling and having fun, and Tobias Harris has been great. Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench has been playing really well. I feel like they're going to drop out eventually because they don't have the experience and the longevity. But man, the Jazz and the Rockets still like down there, and the Spurs, it's kind of weird.
The Rockets have no defense. Like, I mean,
and they've just given up. It feels like they've just given up. They gave CP3 the max, and everyone just went, we lost last year and we're never going to get back there. So let's just, who cares? And like, I don't know why they gave Chris Paul the max really, because he's just one injury away. Yeah, he looks like an old man. Like he looks washed. He might.
That just feels to me that there's going to be some 3-team trade in 2 seasons where he gets bought out to a tanking team and some pieces moved, and
he's a storied player. Like he's a well-known and well-respected player. So I don't think him making a move, or a franchise making a move where he is like shat on or something, like, you know, he's too well respected to not have gone into that and given him the contract.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it was kind of railroaded to happen.
Yes, because
they got him. He was there. I'm pretty sure he would have signed, like said, I'm going to sign here after.
Yeah.
So make the trade type of thing. Obviously, I think that's tampering, but. And then now it's like he got that injury and they don't look like they don't care. Anyway, fuck the Rockets. Let's move on. Spurs and Jazz, Aussie on Aussie crime.
We did see some Aussie on Aussie crime. Big win for the Jazz. Good scoring.
Finally they needed that win.
This is a team that Gobert's going to feast against LaMarcus. I think he's got height and size on LaMarcus quite easily. Mitchell had a good night and scored well. Ingles, obviously playing some efficient time. 7 assists, 3 steals. He's a good pocket pincher, the old Ingles.
He's getting some good steals this season.
He is. 50% from 3 rebounds. Exum, 7 points. Good efficient scoring. 1 rebound, 2 assists. And Paddy had 8 points and 2 assists. Corver scoring 15 points in this game, which
3
is
or 4.
Yes, efficient. That's what they need. That's what he needs to do week in, week out in order to be effective. And it was something like last season. If Corver scored over 13 points in a game, the Cavs won 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So obviously he's that good piece that's going to add 10 minutes of efficient scoring to get in there. If he scores, you're more likely to win. If he doesn't score, it's going to be a much tougher road. Like
I said, like it solves that problem of too many drive guys. Like we were saying, there probably was one too many drive and score guys in that team, with Mitchell obviously taking a lot of the scoring load. There probably was just one too many. I don't know if I would have liked Burks was the guy to go, like, because he's more creative in general.
Yeah.
But it feels like, okay, we've solved this problem, and now other things are falling in place for the Jazz, where they're going to get back to winning ways and hopefully win 60.
Win every game from here on in.
Yeah, I'd love it, man. They won 30 last year or something like that. Some crazy amount. 30-4 in the second half of last year.
Yeah. I mean, that was Mitchell and Ingles going on a tear. Look, they may do it. I think the West has just improved a little bit too much. And the East has just gotten a little bit more trash. So,
but,
you just got to be beating it. You got to be taking your East chances. Really, if I was the Jazz, you got to be beating the Knicks. You got to be beating the Hawks. You got to be beating the Cavs. Got to be taking those 10 easy games to get you up there, and then trying to pip some big wins. But like, we've seen LeBron resurge. Like, the last few games, he's just been fantastic to watch. Impossible to guard, hitting ridiculous shots from almost half court. Just getting back to the LeBron, he always starts the season slowly, and then he's just LeBron takes over the Lakers. It's the same shit that happened to the Cavs is now happening to the Lakers. Yeah. Really, it seems like it. And that's why the West is boring, and that's why the East is top three in the East is much more fun to watch, even with a bit of Blake Griffin thrown in there.
Spinning, twirling, backing, twisting, fading, laying it in, Blake Griffin.
Giannis had a massive dunk over him. It was hilarious.
Rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
For 48 minutes a game. So we'll move on to the 76ers and the Raptors.
Yes.
I did not see this game.
I watched this game.
You're our resident 76ers
I am
expert.
the resident 76ers expert.
Super fan.
Look, the 76ers got cold fourth quarter. Really, it went to that. I think Embiid didn't have a great game. Simmons, although passed very well, played a little bit better with that whole Kawhi. Kawhi was on him the whole game.
Yeah, well, that was what I was going to say. Did Kawhi
locked him down from a scoring perspective, but I think Simmons controlled the tempo of his passing a lot better and didn't get flustered at the Kawhi experience.
11 assists, 7 turnovers. Still wanting to pass the ball, which is good. It showed a good mentality.
Yeah, it did. Rebounded well, almost a triple-double. Scored efficiently, even though it was 8 points. He needs to get his volume of scoring up. Look, Leonard's just a good player.
Yeah, man.
The rest of the team played like absolute turd. Valanciunas had a good game. I think he took Embiid to town this game.
Yeah.
Backed him down very well. Embiid didn't really have a lot. I think Embiid looked tired, as he does do sometimes. And again, it's getting from that rim protective block to the post in fast transition that Simmons and TJ offer is a hard task for a 7-foot big man in any league.
Especially against a team that's really good at exploiting team. Like, a high-quality team, high-caliber, smart offense is going to take something like that into account. Let's play faster because Embiid, we'll wear Embiid out type of thing.
Look, Leonard lights out, 13 of 24, 5 from 6 from 3, and 5 steals. You're going to have a good game. Butler, 38 points. He was fantastic. I think, they struggled in other areas. JJ had a good game. It's away from home. We haven't played away from home all season. Mm. This is what people don't realize. A 9-point loss to the Raptors, who are playing well, the top team in the East, is not that big a deal away from home. If we'd lost them 20 at home, I'd say there's a problem. Getting cold in the fourth quarter on a good defensive team with a Kawhi Leonard away from home, where we're 9-1 at home, not a big deal. This is just another piece. The puzzle will come back, learn from it, and get better. But it's good to see, Embiid was a bit hard on himself, and Butler, picking him up and getting him to play a bit better. But, Philly went on a good run. And then, I think the experience of Kawhi outshined the Philly group, and he tore away towards the end. And that's all really what it was. I
think Toronto are further along, in their development. Yeah. Even if you take the fact that they've just got Kawhi this season, I still think the rest of their team is a lot further along than this Philly team anyway. Yeah. Especially with the gravitational Butler trade and stuff like that.
I think they've only improved, obviously, with Leonard, because DeRozan was a fantastic shooter, mid-range game. But again, not a really long range game and not a defensive game like Kawhi.
Yeah, it's like taking the exact same game but just adding like high quality defense to it
And 3-point ability.
Yeah. He shot the 3-ball all right last season, but obviously, that extra defensive aspect has just changed their entire team for the better. Hopefully, touch wood, he stays healthy. The Kawhi Leonard, that is. Now, I wanted to get onto Landry Shamet because I was listening to a couple of things today. A lot of people didn't see this guy coming.
No.
And I feel like we talked about him in the draft pod.
You said this in the draft pod. You said, be wary of 26. He's a good shooter.
Yeah.
I was like, this 26 will probably get dished out.
I was listening to it today going, I want to go back to that podcast and maybe listen to it. Because I remember saying to you, like, he's a good knockdown shooter. He can shoot. And he's been great. Obviously, he's still a rookie, so it's his first year. Playing 20 minutes a game is big.
Yes.
Attitude-wise, he's taken it on. I think it's an important aspect of this Philly team, and the opportunity opened up nicely for him with this trade and basically this team needing more shooting.
Yes.
I wonder, like, obviously Bolden's going to come back eventually, whether he can flip into the forward spot and do something like this as well.
Yeah, I wanted to see him slot into that 4 spot where Chandler potentially take minutes off Chandler and, Muscala could play that combined 4-5 because it seems like Amir's fallen out of a bit of out of favor lately just because they want obviously higher scoring. So Muscala's a better scorer. Yeah. Bolden will be a better scorer, but Bolden would be that 4 that stretches the floor and gets the spot to shoot, as we saw in some of the games, in the game that he did play, and also defend around the perimeter, like a big, long guy. It's going to be very hard to get past him. Switchable. I mean, I say this, he has got the same dimensions as Giannis. His game's nowhere near Giannis, but that's not the same thing. Giannis started somewhere. This is his 5th year in the league.
Yeah.
It's going to get to that point where he needs to start developing, and that's fine. He'll get there and develop. He needs to get some game time. And we only really need to finish in the top 4. Let's be realistic. Yeah. Like we only need to finish top 4.
Just get home court for the finals. That's about it.
Home court first round. Other than that, you're going to be playing high caliber teams, so it doesn't matter. Get out of the first round. You're still doing the same as last year. And he needs to get some game time in at the 4 and take some minutes away from Chandler, and be that 3-ball guy, and work on his defensive game because that if that length is added with the speed that Bolden has over Wilson or Muscala, it's going to be deadly, especially in transition.
I think, is Chandler out at the moment?
He's not out. He's had some niggles. I think he had an ankle, mild ankle injury, but he's back in.
So Bolden is playing for the Bluecoats as well.
No, he's up in the NBA at the moment. He's not playing for the Bluecoats.
But is he regularly going to play?
No, not at the moment. No, he hasn't played since his injury.
Because he's another one I really want to see take some strides, because in terms of the Australian team as well, that's an important spot. Switchable big guys is a big part of our team. It's something we don't really have that many of. Baines is probably pretty much the only one in terms of big men. But lost to the Raptors. I wouldn't be too worried about that if I was the 76ers. Come the end of the season, Jimmy Butler, 15 of 27, took a lot of shots in this game.
He did, but I think that was needed. There was a lot of ISO scoring was needed because Simmons wasn't getting there and Embiid wasn't getting there. So it's one of those things. He's the guy that is happy to take on the role of that role player if everyone else is scoring, or just like, nah, this isn't working. I'm going to take on some offense, and that's cool.
Of course, he's going to help Simmons with his defense. That was one thing I said to you when that first happened.
Yes.
Like, I want him to take him under his wing and teach him how to defend, because that was obviously, we talked about it at the start of the season. That was one of Simmons' big things that he needed to work on this season was perimeter defense, getting a lot better defensively in the shot, but the shot's still not there. But, mate, second season. So
took time. Okay, we'll move on.
Detroit Bucks.
Man, it's a good minutes for Delhi.
Yeah.
Good to see finally.
Yeah, 6 assists too. Played really well.
Dish City.
Plus 11 on the night.
Dish City. Delhi's a good lockdown defender. We can say one thing about Delhi. Yeah. He's a fantastic pest. I would call him a pest.
I think it's a good terminology.
He's a TJ style pest. Thon shot really well. 3 from 8. 3 from 6 free throws, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. But Delhi, Dish City, 2 points all at the line, 1 rebound and 6 assists. Giannis had a massive dunk over Blake Griffin. It was fantastic to see. Middleton was out this game.
Yep.
Bledsoe had a season high 27 points. Man, Brogdon looks good.
Yeah, man, he's come on leaps and bounds.
He's
and
so good.
He's kind of unlocked that team too, like the versatile guy, the extra guy. And even Bledsoe, man. Bledsoe kind of came out of nowhere. Watching that team last year in the playoffs.
Bledsoe was trash.
It just didn't work. Like, you knew what he was trying to do, and you knew what he was there to do, but it just didn't fit. It wasn't, like, it didn't work. It was weird. And it almost made you think, that's a bad trade. Like, what have you done here? But now they've just unlocked it by basically everyone focuses on Giannis, and then he tosses the ball out to someone, and then obviously Bledsoe just moves, and he can either get to the rim or he can knock down a shot, and his game's rolling, which is good. Giannis, how many points did he have in this game? He had 15 points, so cooling off maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got an array of big men to throw at him.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty lucky in that. They've got some length, Thon, Lopez. Andre Drummond, although I thought Giannis would have taken Andre to town. I think Blake Griffin guarded Giannis a bit better. Like as a 4-on-4, is probably the most even in the league.
Yeah.
I would say, in terms of defensive prowess. I mean, for as much as we don't like Blake Griffin as a player, he's actually a good player.
Yeah.
He's actually a very good player. He's an all-star. And it's good to see him back playing regularly and uninjured and out of LA.
I just wonder if like Dwayne Casey didn't have Blake Griffin, whether his style would be a lot different, or whether he's letting Blake Griffin back down a lot, because he does back down an insane amount.
Yeah, but I think it's just Detroit going, we've got one guy here. We've got Andre Drummond, who's a serviceable center. We haven't got a lot of great other pieces.
Yeah.
We're gonna let Griffin take over this team.
Yeah.
Which you have to, really, with the pieces he's got on his team. Zaza Pachulia, Ish Smith, Reggie Jackson.
Zaza, man. Zaza's awesome.
Yeah. Reggie Bullock when he's fit. I mean, he hasn't got a Kyrie Thomas. These guys aren't household names. They're not even.
Nah, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So it's really just the Blake Griffin show. And he's been playing really that team into some finals contention early on in the season.
Yeah. Front end load those wins, which is good.
Indeed. All right, we
second last, Mavs.
Second
Pels.
last, Mavs and Pels, and the Mavs chunked to the Pels, but the return of Ryan Broekhoff.
Yes. Oh, a round of applause.
I think
Ryan.
so. We get 16 minutes, largest streak of the year. 9 points, 3 from 7, 1 for 1 from the line, 4 rebounds, and an assist on a -1. That's some good shit.
Yeah, good.
In a 26-point loss. Being -1 is very nice.
Taking some shots other than 3 points.
Yeah, so he's 40% from 3, getting some good minutes, obviously, in chunk time. Randall had 27 points and 18 rebounds for the Pelicans. He's had some good games this year.
I think this was a pretty close game. I wonder if that was garbage time. It was 16 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
16 minutes. I'm just going to double check that because I am curious. Where his minutes were, because that looks like he was integrated. I didn't watch this game, I'm going to admit. That looks like he was integrated into the team rather than he's just playing garbage time.
Or it could have been over at 3/4 time.
I don't think it was. I think it was a tight game from memory.
Yeah.
I've got no data on my phone, so I haven't been able to watch games. Just like it runs out tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
So
been watching the highlights.
Welcome to Australia.
Yeah, mate. And our home internet is hilarious. What do you get? 2 megabits per second? I get 12 download and 0.3 upload. Fucking terrible. We live in a third world country in Australia. But the Pels shot very well from the 3 ball, 58%. Holiday 17 points, 4 steals. They're a good team when they're on song. The Pels, even without Davis. And there's been a lot of rumors around Davis. Let's just say he could be a Laker very, very soon. Although I don't know why they'd want to take Lonzo Ball on. He wouldn't fit into the Pels at all.
Yeah,
he kind of needs to have his own little setup there. JJ Barea got 14 points. Harrison Barnes 16 points. Wesley Matthews 15 points, and Dennis Smith Jr. was not a part of it with a sprained wrist.
Yeah. So Ryan Broekhoff did. Yeah. So he played from in the third quarter, pretty much all of the end of the third quarter, and then all of the fourth quarter. There you go. So 16 minutes straight. It was good to see him.
Yeah, but it's good to see him playing.
Yeah.
-1 on the night, but some good minutes, getting in and integrate a part of the the backup unit at the Mavs,
knocking down 2 3-pointers, which was good.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's go to our last game, which was the Lakers and Spurs series. I think the Spurs had the Lakers 2-0 in this series so far, and LeBron did the LeBron thing and scored 20 of his 42 points in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Which really broke the Spurs' heart.
This was a pretty tight game. Like, it was like halftime, it looked like the Spurs kind of was arm wrestling the game away from the Lakers, and then sort of in the third it became another arm wrestle, and then the Lakers came back, and then the Spurs came back again, and it looked like the Spurs have put this game away in the fourth. And then it came all the way back again, but obviously in LA, this team has more to play for now, and the arena was so into it. Like, that was so loud. Kevin Hart, I think. Kevin Hart?
Yeah, right. The short dude, small dude, yeah.
It just made me think of that comedian. Josh Hart, Kevin Hart.
Oh, Josh Hart.
Yeah, Josh Hart, not Kevin Hart.
It's like, yeah, Kevin Hart. What about Kevin Hart?
Double-edged comment, because he probably was in the arena. He played really well down the stretch of this game. Lonzo Ball was hitting shots, a couple of threes laid on. And then LeBron, obviously, was 42 points. Crazy stuff. Patty Mills, 21 minutes. He didn't play all that well. 6 points, 2 of 8 from the field. He did hit a good three sort of near the end. He hit a three that had the potential to be, Paddy's iced this game, but obviously they came back and ended up winning. The Lakers, that is. Tough loss for the Spurs, man. I thought
it is
really they could have beaten the Lakers.
You wonder if this is Coach Pop's last year, really. Such a dynastic team for so long. Really, the game isn't flowing in the same way. I think he himself even admits that he's not really liking the modern NBA.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the 3-ball being shot en masse. So I'm not sure kind of what the run's going to be down, but I don't think the Spurs will make the finals this year for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, you would say that, wouldn't you, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to say that. I'm going to make this prediction right now in a tank stack West.
Well, you made it in the over-unders, so you've already made that prediction.
I did. I'm going to reiterate my prediction.
So, of course, you'd say that, mate.
Of course.
Me, on the other hand, I hope the Spurs can pull it out.
I hope so for Paddy's sake. I like seeing him in the finals.
Yeah, and for my own prediction's sake. It's weird to say that they kind of miss Gasol in the same way as they don't really miss Gasol, but at the same time, they miss that extra big, the hustle guy, that 4-5 hustle guy. Cunningham's not really doing it for them. LaMarcus Aldridge needs his crew of guys around him. Bertans kind of gets out-muscled a bit. And then Pirtle's a bit like out of control, crazy. A little bit like JaVale Light type of thing. Can get a bit out of control. Yeah, a little bit goofy. Solid, but it's not. They just need that extra big. Rudy Gay's trying to take on a lot of the load. And obviously, he played really well in this game, actually, down the stretch of this game, but it wasn't enough. And the Spurs
chunking it in the end.
Yeah, not much more to say. It's a bit eulogy-ish.
So we should probably tag on to the back of this for all our listeners that the news out of NBA and G League Paradise is that Mitch Creek has signed a marquee deal with the South Melbourne Phoenix.
Yeah.
A big asterisk against that, if he does get picked up by an NBA for an actual NBA contract and not a two-way deal, he will remain in America to obviously play in the NBA. But that's a 2-year plus 1 player option agreement, marquee deal. I'd like to see him stay in America. Obviously, that's going to improve his game a lot more for the national team, which I care very much about. I could not care about the 9th team or the 2nd team in Melbourne. We live in Sydney. We do not like Melbourne. Melbourne sucks. No, we love Melbourne, but still.
Yeah.
It would be a shame to see him not follow his dreams in play in the NBA.
Yeah. They must be offering him a lot of money, man, to do that.
Yeah.
Unless on the back of like an out, like you said, like the out
$500,000 minimum contract in the NBA. It's $500,000. So it's always going to be more than a marquee spot here.
Yeah.
Unless you're Bogut, who gets actually given part of the Sydney Kings.
Yeah.
That's how they got him in.
Take everything.
Yeah.
Take the whole thing.
You want a car? You want a house? All right, guys.
That's not enough, mate. In Sydney real estate, that's not enough.
No.
That's only a quarter of what the franchise.
You'll get a studio in Paddington.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
What do we got coming up? Anything else coming up?
We've got some more games coming up. We obviously have our G League edition being released.
Yeah, we recorded that the other day. There's been some more games and some other stuff, but we'll put that out anyway.
We'll put that out there. But mate, it's going to be Christmas time soon, and we'll be going into the All-Star break. And that's pretty much it. Just continuing on with the NBA flow. We're getting towards, as we get closer towards halfway through the year, I think we're going to do a player review. Yeah. Talk about all the players individually and put that out there, and more about the teams as well, updating our overs unders. Yeah. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah. Take it easy, peeps.
Peace.